like the sky, your spirit is one with me. You wake and stand by the ocean. Your eyes see everything. The slightest of your motions can make the confidence ring. Yet in all your might and glory, vanished from the skies, leaving just another story, this man-made lies. They tell of how you fell from the sky, you once proud.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Free American Hour. I'm your host. I am Clay Douglas. And I am looking for a couple of things here. Okay. The Oathkeepers are coming to Tucson. That will be this Monday. I've got information on that. The reason they are coming to Tucson is, well, a 27-year-old Marine, Jose Guerena, was killed in a SWAT raid in Tucson, Arizona. At approximately 9:30 a.m., 2 hours after he hit the rack after working a 12-hour graveyard shift at an Arizona mine, his wife woke him by yelling that there were men with guns outside. She had seen a man outside of the window pointing a gun at her. He told her to take their 4-year-old son and hide in the closet, grabbed his AR-15 and stepped into the hallway of his home just as his front door was battered in. He died with his safety on. He didn't fire a shot. The Pima County, Arizona Sheriff's Department, this is Sheriff Dupnick's department, their SWAT team fired 71 rounds at him, hitting him with approximately 60 rounds. He had no criminal record. The only justification given by the sheriff's spokesman for using SWAT to serve the warrant was that it was a search warrant in a narcotics conspiracy investigation. What's that? Three neighbors talking about getting together, smoking a joint, splitting a bag? They were using SWAT to serve a warrant, not knock on the door, not say, "Excuse me, sir, ma'am, you know, we've got a warrant here to search your house." That would seem to be the reasonable way to do that. But there was a conspiracy among the people, narcotics experience, a conspiracy investigation. Now, this policy of using SWAT to serve mere search warrants on people with no violent criminal history will lead to more deaths of veterans and other trained American gun owners, because a trained man will react precisely the same way this young Marine did. Oathkeeper says we must take a stand on this use of SWAT against gun owners and veterans who have no violent criminal history, and that stand needs to be a firm one. Therefore, we are going to rally in Tucson this coming Memorial Day, May 30th, to honor this young Marine service and to express our opposition to the destruction of our liberty and our opposition to this policy of using SWAT teams to serve mere search warrants on gun owners and veterans who have no violent criminal record. We don't know the exact details of where precisely we will meet for the rally point. Well, actually, we do. So let's take this information down. Oathkeepers will muster at Tucson, Arizona on Memorial Day, May 30th, 2011. That's Monday. When they will be doing that at 8 a.m. sharp, Monday morning, Memorial Day, May 30th, 2011. I may do this show I might do it from a nearby area. I'll scout this out and see. The Oathkeepers and friends will muster and march to the home of Mrs. Vanessa Guerena for a ceremony of memoriam for her late husband, Jose Guerena, a U.S. Marine Corps veteran of the Iraq War. 8 a.m. sharp, Monday morning, Memorial Day, at the intersection of West Valencia Road and South Wade Road. You take I-10 to I-19 south, exit West Valencia Road to South Wade Road, Tucson. Oathkeepers is calling for all veterans, National Guardsmen, active duty military, current serving police officers, firefighters, retired public servants, gun owners, veterans organizations, civic organizations, church groups, student groups, and other patriotic Americans. Why? To stand with Oathkeepers at a memorial service for Jose Guerena, a war veteran who was killed by law enforcement gunfire in his home May 5th, 2011. We wish to honor Jose Guerena's service to this nation and ensure that his death lights a spark which shall lawfully undo present-day policies which militarize our local peace officers and violate our veterans and gun owners' Fourth Amendment rights. Now, I've been speaking with Ray Epps, and I've also spoken with Elias. They say the public is cordially invited to march and stand with Oathkeepers for this ceremony. All who cannot attend are encouraged to do what you can on Memorial Day in your communities. A great example of a local activity is given us by Pahrump, Nevada Oathkeepers. You need to work with this. Here's what they say you need to do, what you can do. You work with friends and neighbors and community groups in your respective areas to ensure such proclamations are brought before your local government officials and state officials. You can do this anytime. It's not limited to Memorial Day. You need to work to establish oversight by your state government, your attorney general, and your local sheriff's offices to protect Fourth Amendment rights at the local level to provide accountability for intrusive police activities. Work to educate your neighbors and friends to the militarization of our police, our local peace officers, and help them see how such practices violate our Bill of Rights, including the Fourth Amendment. Folks, that's what I have been trying to do for the last 20 years. I told you what FEMA was going to become. I've told you what these banksters are doing to you. And now Oathkeepers is doing very much and saying very much the same thing as I have been telling you. They say to recommend to your local government that police actions, especially SWAT activities, does not mimic the acts of criminals who recommend to your local government that police actions, especially SWAT activity, does not mimic the acts of criminals who execute home invasions. Remind everyone of the inherent dangers in accepting federal funding and federal training. Now, I've told you about that too. The Senate Bill 1959 that they passed years ago before Oathkeepers, but while I was still on the watch they passed the Senate Bill 1959 on homegrown terrorists that basically turned the guy next door to you into a potential terrorist. If somebody got up and accused him of being anti-Semitic or being a racist or being a Christian or being a Jew, come on, our founding fathers knew that. That's why there's no state religion. And they're telling you right here. Oathkeepers is telling you what I've been telling you. Now, folks, let me make a statement here. I have been accused by the ADL and Southern Poverty Law, both Jewish entities, of being anti-Semitic, of being a racist, because I helped start the militias. Yes, I am damn sure guilty of starting the militias. I damn sure am. I helped start it, and guess what, folks? Just a minute here. That's just checking out everything here. I started the militias. I helped start that. And I did exactly the right thing. That is exactly what our founding fathers would do and did do. When the last SWAT team raided Waco, I became active in resisting that. The same way the Oath Keepers is doing this in this particular instance. I did not go out and start a gang. I didn't hang around figuring out how we could take somebody's money and somebody's pot. I didn't sit around doing that. We met in the governor's office. So the militias, at least in New Mexico, this isn't a terrorist organization as made out to be by the ADL and the Southern Poverty Law. And now, Homeland Security, controlled in many cases by dual citizens, people with dual loyalties, but you can't speak their name, you can't say anything about it without being accused of being anti-Semitic. And now this is this same thing and the same tactics that they have used on me after starting the militia and after starting a magazine to try to tell you the truth, and a radio show to tell you the truth exactly like I'm doing right now. I am giving you the information. I'm not promoting any organization. I'm not, I'm not, well, actually I am. Yes, I think we all need to get together. We need to work together. We need to put aside differences, whether it's religious or political. You know, communists are active in America right now. I mean, they were marching with the SEIU, the unions. So they are there now. They are there now. They are here now. And Homeland Security in the first meeting is talking about, you know, well, we're gonna need 400,000 armed, trained, disciplined troops to control the American people. That's what these SWAT teams are. You've seen them marching, beating with their drums. This is what is happening. And any law enforcement, any veteran with any kind of training can see what is happening here, what is going on here. That's why I've had on Veterans Today, and I'm writing for Veterans Today, because we see what's happening. Whether it's communism or fascism or what, it's all controlled and the strings are pulled by banksters. Some of them are Jewish. That don't mean shit. It doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean the lady that sits next to me at the Breakfast Club, whose parents happen to be Jewish. She's married. She's married to somebody. That's a patriot. They both work together. They both come to the Breakfast Club. That don't mean because she's Jewish, she's suddenly the enemy. That's what they are trying to do to you. They're trying to turn so you look at every Muslim. You know, the Christian identity is trying to point the finger at the blacks, or the Jews. Anybody that ain't white. Bullshit! Bullshit! That's not the way it's to be. I have been in the service and in the militias with a black man standing right beside me. No problem. Aaron Russo sat over on that side of me when he was running for governor, and I was supporting him in the Free American. Pastor Manning talked about that long-legged Mac Daddy. Barack Hussein Obama, or what other name he wants to go by. No, actually, it is. It is. Just FSB on my chat room says, so it's not a problem. The white man is a minority in his own country. It is absolutely a problem. It is absolutely a problem because white people founded this country. White people founded, Australia. White people founded South Africa. I don't want to see what happened to South Africa happen here. I don't want to see the productivity of the white man, the Israelites, be torn down by the barbarians invading Rome. And I'm going to be stepping up. This is why I have so many enemies and detractors in any way, because if you're playing this game for gain, so you've got a little edge on somebody, so you make a little bit more profit off of something they sell, then yeah, we've got a problem. Yes, we've got a problem. And for the Jewish-owned media to convince you that you need to take birth control pills, you need to sleep with all these black folks and these brown folks, so we can all look like our hero, Barack Obama. Then you got a little bit of a problem. You've been brainwashed, you've been beaten down, and that's what is happening right now, even with the Oath Keepers. Now, I was supposed to have people on my show today. I was supposed to have people on my show from the Oath Keepers. But some people, now, I don't know, this is not everybody. This is, I think Stuart Rhodes started a fine organization that picks up everything that I've been telling you for 20 years. Everything for 20 years. There was no expiration date on that oath we took to uphold, to defend the Constitution. The enemies are domestic. The enemies are internal. And that's all I'm talking about. If you are stealing, taking money from, oppressing, or establishing tyranny, then you're my enemy. You're going against what our founding fathers set this country up to be, to escape the tyranny of one world government in England. Now, I want to try something. Let's try this. Now, a lot of you are my old listeners.
Hello.
Hello, Elias.
Hey, Clay. How are you?
I'm doing well, Elias. I'm kind of right in the middle of my radio show. I have just shared the release that Ray Epps put out about the meetings, and it's going to be at the location of West Valencia.
Yes.
And let's see. Let me.
I believe it was South Wade.
Yes, South Wade and West Valencia. That's right off of 19, which is heading down towards Mexico.
Right.
Right off of 10.
Right.
And
South on 19 off of 10.
and I was kind of getting into a rant there, and I wanted to interrupt it because, you know, this thing with Guereno. This is really, it's escalating. It's what I think that we have been being manipulated into. The Homeland Security report, the assessment, is in my book, Mystery Babylon. And they started pointing the fingers at the veterans. They started pointing the fingers at, and they've been pointing the finger at me, at the militia, for 20 years.
Well, they've overlooked one little thing. As Dr. Edwin Vieira points out, the militia is the only thing that's said to be necessary in the Constitution. It's necessary for the security of a free state. And they say that in our own Constitution. Anybody that points the finger about militia just doesn't understand the Constitution.
You know, I've asked people when ABC News asked me, you know, what I thought about the assessment report. I said, what part of the Second Amendment don't you understand?
Really? Yeah, when it gets down to it, any and every law affecting your personal defense armaments, the size of weapons up to what a man can carry or bear, any law regulating or touching on that at all since the Second Amendment, anything written since the Second Amendment, is an infringement. There's no other way to look at it. It says shall not be infringed, and so they go and they want to tell you when you can carry the thing, where you can carry it. They want to tell you how long the barrel has to be, how many shots you can fire per minute, or whatever. All of that is infringements. And yet there the wording is in our most sacred founding legal charter papers, shall not be infringed. So we have a lot of education to do, and interestingly enough, outfits like that ADL and the SPLC are out there trying to miseducate the public as fast as they can, demonize the word militia, even though it's contained. You know, it was expected that the states who formed that compact each of them would keep a well-regulated militia. So you know what Oathkeepers is preaching this year, thanks to the genius of Dr. Vieira. We're saying the county commission, and every county in America, in each of the states, should have an office for the militia of that county, and all the citizens should sign up for it. I'm talking about school teachers, bus drivers, dock workers, blue-collar workers, business people, sheriff's deputies, everybody.
Elias, the U.S., according to U.S. code, every able-bodied male between the ages of 18 and 45 are the militia.
That's exactly right. And a lot of our states have duplicated that in their constitutions. Montana actually says it too.
Now, the ADL, Southern Poverty Law, has been demonizing me for 20 years. Because I started the militia, and we were not a terrorist organization. We were not some sitting meeting in somebody's garage trying to figure out where we could plant a bomb. We were meeting in the governor's office, and we worked for the governor. And when they came out with the Southern Poverty Law inspired guide to right-wing extremists put out by the FBI here in Phoenix, that listed Clay Douglas, Governor Johnson recalled every one of those documents from every police office in New Mexico because I said, Gary, they're trying to get me killed here. You know, what if some cop in Socorro, New Mexico, thinks I'm some kind of dangerous radical because they're listed me in this guide to right-wing extremist. He said, don't worry about it, Clay. I'll take care of it. And the chief of the police of New Mexico told me later, the next day, Clay, don't worry about it. I said, you guys keep telling me this. I think somebody's trying to get me killed here. Don't worry about it, Clay. The governor recalled every one of those booklets from every police officer. I've been reading your magazine for 10 years. There's no danger from me or any of my men. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I agree with their advice there, Clay. I don't worry about it. I speak publicly all over Montana at Oathkeepers rallies or Tea Party rallies and what have you. And I don't worry about it. I know some elements out there point a crooked finger at Oathkeepers or at me. I had the ADL mention me by name last year in a hit piece that they published, and I just don't worry about it because the condition our country is in, everybody needs to make a stand. There's nothing in the world wrong with standing for the Constitution. And it's even better when you realize that the Constitution was a creation of the several sovereign states who got together in compact to create that Constitution. And what I have found to be very interesting is an 1833 speech by John Calhoun out of South Carolina, in which he says a very famous sentence that is this: the error is in assuming that the general government was party to the compact. And when you think about that, you look at that Constitution, nobody signed it.
That's coming out more and more, you know, that we have a corporate government that they basically sold Americans into slavery to the bankers, to the Federal Reserve in 1933. May 8th, 33 is when they confiscated the gold from the American people.
Right, you know, and that gold in Fort Knox has not been publicly audited since under Eisenhower in 1953, and we're curious these days why the Federal Reserve lists gold on its assets column on its books. So Ron Paul has asked that question, and the Fed has told him that they're holding that gold against the portions of the national debt that they own. So we're wondering where they got that gold. Where did the American government get that gold?
And where did the gold that was being exported that turned out to be titanium or something like that? You know, where did that come from?
I'm not sure. I don't know anything about that.
Let me point. Elias, hang on just a minute. I want to point out at the end of this about I'm recording the first half of this right now, and that includes my little rant. That'll continue in just a moment. But Elias is on the board of directors of Oathkeepers. Is that correct?
That's right. I'm a board member. I've been with Oathkeepers since Stuart Rhodes founded the organization. And I also run the Montana chapter for Oathkeepers.
Okay, I want to talk to you when we come right back here. Let me just do this.